Good. So, welcome to you all. Thank you for being here. And welcome to all the friends that are joining us around the world. It's a beautiful possibility to create a field, a Sangha field, all around the planet. I had a big working day today. Some of you know I'm working on an online training for conscious living, and I make these kind of 7-8 minute videos on many different topics that are related to the chakras. And today I recorded 3 more videos on the heart, and I'm all inspired about the heart again. I mean, I'm always inspired about the heart, but by now I have 13 videos just for the heart, and we haven't reached the upper chakras yet, because the heart has been kind of so alluring, and in a way we can all relate to the heart. And what came today very strongly, like the topic today, has been the intuition of the heart, that quality of the heart that knows. And it's a very different quality than the mind that thinks it knows, but it's kind of confused. It's here and there and here and there and here and there. So for all the friends here and the friends in cyberspace around the world, if any questions come up, our friend Steve is here, and you can write comments. And if there's any question or any comment that excuse me, that you would like to have, talked about, Steve will give me a sign, and then I will try and respond. Now, this is a little bit of a food for the mind before we go into a meditation, because then we can use the meditation to actually deepen this. As you all remember, when we go in, especially when we go into the heart, and remember when we did the Atisha meditations a few times, we go through all the different layers, and eventually we touch emptiness. We touch the empty heart. And the empty heart is very powerful, and I know you all have a glimpse or a sense of that when we sit in silence, because we are naturally go deeper and deeper and deeper, and there may come an unforeseen moment, if you don't look for it, if you don't try it, where it seems we disappear. It seems we are touching a space that is not personal anymore. And that's something really interesting to actually even think about through the mind. It's like when we go in, now we go out because beautiful Surati is coming and everybody wants to look at her, so we go out. But what happens if we go in? Then we come to a place when we really want to meet someone. We meet on the deepest level inside of ourselves. This is very important for relationship partners. In a relationship, the tendency in this so-called romance or codependency is to go out, and we expect that the other actually fulfills something that we hope is possible, and we all know it's not possible. And yet when and then there's this longing to merge and melt, and each time Steve comes for satsang, before I have to kind of ask him what happens to love. And there's always these waves of up and down, of melting and aloneness, and so it's kind of what we call love is not love. What we call love on the relationship side is second body movement, melting and aloneness, melting and aloneness. And depending on how we were brought up, either we are stuck with melting and we don't want to be alone, or we are stuck in aloneness and we don't want to melt. Anybody has that? And that is just because the old habit of conditioning freezes us in one section of the number 8, which is actually a flow between melting and aloneness. But it has nothing to do with love yet. Where is love here? Love is the space in which the melting and aloneness is seen as it is. Are you following me here? And that is always here. So each time we look for love, we look in the wrong place, because we look in the other rather than inside ourselves as space. And here, some of us love the word space, but some of us don't love the word space. Then you can replace it with love. I'm not looking at anybody specifically, but it's the same thing. Some of us neither like love nor space. They like God, or the divine, or existence, or fate, or destiny, or all these words that point to not a thing. And the beauty is when we go in the heart, when we go into the heart, and this is like a remembering. At a certain point, we are naturally one. And it's very paradox, because we go in and it seems we leave the other, and we don't. We merge into nothingness together, and that nothingness is love. I think if lovers understand this, not just intellectually, but energetically or in presence, it's an incredible possibility. I got reminded of this. I have a beautiful friend who is very sick, and she's in chemotherapy and goes through hell with the body, and everything is painful, and and the waves of fear and the wave of anxiety, whether she's going to die or not, or whether healing is possible. We go through all these things, and I think the same procedure that we go through is each time we move into some let go, we have to let go. So there's a sequence there. First, we deny. If you're faced with your own death, really, the first, no, not me. And then there comes quite a rage, why me, And the why me is whether your lover leaves you, or whether you actually die, or the body leaves you. There's always this sequence: denial, anger, hopelessness, and eventually let go. Now, if we understand this principle from the space of the heart, it was very, very beautiful. I was sitting with her for 45 minutes, just not doing anything, just meditating, just going into the nothingness of things. And I think the next day she told me that something really strange happened, that she felt like energetically and psychologically it's almost like things arranged themselves in a very beautiful or healing way. Of course, I like to hear that, even though, because I didn't do anything. She didn't do anything. But what is happening, and this is why these sanghas are so powerful and important, is that when we meet as space, then all, I would say all, maybe exaggerated, but all our issues are held in this space. And then we're falling back into nature, and nature in itself always returns to its own harmony. And the same thing happens with us humans. So a big piece of healing, and it reminds me of something that I heard Osho say when he talked about Zen. In the West, when somebody is crazy, they put him into the psychiatric hospital and they fill him with drugs. And apparently, I don't know if it's true, but apparently in ancient Japan, they took the crazy person and brought him to the Zen temple. And the monks, they didn't pay attention to him, they didn't kind of pamper him or pity him or care for him. He was just part of the daily temple routine with a lot of meditation and chanting. And that created a space where the disturbed mind, the disturbed body, the disturbed psyche just naturally finds its healthy part again. Now, I think this is very relevant in our time where everybody goes nuts with COVID-19. I think by now it's COVID-21 or 22 or 23. It's an incredible mind game. Now, forgive me if somebody is listening that is dearly sick by COVID-19. You may get very angry when I say this. Yes, it is a virus. But the biggest virus is the mental story that the whole humanity kind of believes in, that keeps the disturbance going. Because healing is possible, healing is happening. And my guess is if more people would meditate, there would be a lot less fear, a lot less survival anxiety, a lot less stress, and a lot less governmental control, controlling healthy people out of fear. Of course, the government people also are afraid. No? You cannot blame them, but it created a very distorted world. And all that is through the disturbed mind being caught in survival fears. So that's where the heart again comes in. When we go in and we find no thing, this is like a death. I think death cannot be worse than that. When the body goes, we're still here. So what can die? only that which is not real. What is that? Our personality, our ego structure, our program, everything that we have learned in this life. Now we don't need to dismiss it. It was worth it. It was fantastic. Life is fantastic. But it goes. But when we identify with the content rather than resting as love and space, we are caught in samsara. And to a certain extent it's very much fun, isn't it? Samsara is entertaining. Coming and going, and hoping and hopelessness, and good and bad, and right and wrong, and high and low, and success and failure, and melting and aloneness, and everything is moving until it falls back into source. And each time we meditate, each time we go into the heart, the energy that is usually caught in survival dissolves in spaciousness. I don't know why you are here, but that's my reason to be here. To have these evenings, to meditate, to be here. Because who we truly are has never gone anywhere. We just are in a mistaken identity that we think we are the body, or we think we are my story, or we think we are my despair, or we think we are whatever we think we are. And some of us have a more positive mind that is, seeing the goodness, and some of us have a more negative mind and seeing all the bad things. And it's all in the mind. And yet behind the mind, behind the story, behind, there are so many different explanations. I just recently read something from Osho, a new explanation about our humanness. He talked about the triangle of the child, the parent, and the adult. And even if I look at myself during the day, sometimes I'm a child, spontaneous, irresponsible, doing what comes right in the moment, and I love to do it, and I don't look at the consequences. And then comes the parent in me and says, don't do this, behave, be right, be nice, be this, be this, be this. We all have a parent inside, or maybe not just one, maybe 2, 3, 4. Mother Superior, head teacher, and so on. And then comes the adult that has tried to kind of get it all together and keep it together as a responsible human being in society. And the attention moves from in this triangle, and we miss the center. Because the center is not a thing, and since it's not a thing, we cannot see it, feel it, sense it, smell it, taste it, and we don't see it as an object. And that's why we dismiss it until we dive in meditation. And the easiest doorway is the heart. And then when we move into the heart, we become one heart. And that's where love is. Let's sit with that a little bit. And for the meditation, I want to dedicate the light of the candle to the one heart. We sit for about 20 minutes, so just relax, allow everything to be, just drop deeper and deeper and deeper into that which looks more empty, more silent, more present. Don't look for anything. Let everything that is here, let that guide you into space. deep breath. Just gently becoming aware of the body again. It's like from inside, from infinity. It's like coming back from the depths of the ocean to the surface. And yet bringing with you that quality of depth. Until you may find a good moment to open your eyes to a completely new moment here. So let's open this a little bit. If you have anything to say or anything to ask other friends around the world, if you have anything to comment, we can take some time for a dialogue. And of course, it's always a bit tricky. We go into the depths of silence, and then there's nothing to say.
So John says it's like speaking underwater.
It's like speaking underwater, yeah. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And it's just bubbles. The bubbles are coming, yeah, in different colors, no? Yes. Baba, come.
I've got matching socks, I thought I'd better get up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got the turquoise socks.
I don't know if it's a question or just a discussion I'd like to open about visualization in meditation. It's I do a lot of like yoga meditation with using lots of techniques of visualizations, and even chakra meditations in some way are like a visualization.
Yeah.
So I just wonder whether you'd like to comment on at what point there is a pure observation of what is, and when one is actually visualizing. For example, if I'm visualizing my heart chakra or whatever, because in my experience, I find that there's a point where the whole thing just dissolves, and then that's real. But then there's almost different levels. But we use a lot of visualizations in a lot of different meditations, and it's I'm always challenged by visualizing. I did so many years of Vipassana, which is just like just watch what is, and if you can't watch it, then it's not real.
Well, in your question is already the idea of this duality between real and not real. I remember at the beginning, I call that at the beginning, when I met Osho at the first, and then I went to the German Raschnistadt, to the German commune, and I lived there. And it was a time where there were some German teachers that were guiding visualization meditations, how did he call them? Well, inner journeys, and guiding through the inner journey into a deeper place, which is more like a hypnotic technique. For example, you visualize yourself at the top of a set of stairs, and then you walk down the stairs and deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you come into a cave, and then you meet a wise man, and so on. So I loved that. And I was more interested in these stories than in Vipassana, in just watching, because it kept my mind occupied and helped my mind to kind of follow into a certain space that the guided meditation would bring me to. Now I get totally bored. I cannot listen to any of these guided, even though I guide myself, and if you use it as a visualization, then you occupy the mind. Now, I often get the feedback that at a certain point people cannot hear anymore what I'm saying, and I love that, because then they're dropping deeper than the words. So I think it's very individual for some, and maybe it worked for you for quite a while, also to include more senses, the inner visual sense, and maybe the feeling with the visual sense, and then maybe even the smell and the fragrance. So in a way we can use the senses in form of story to touch the nothingness, or what you call the real. So if that door works for you, great. If you get hooked on the story, it's the same trap. It's like, it's eventually the story, if it's a good story, it will guide you into no story. It will guide you into that which is aware. It's like if I watch myself just sitting here with you at the beginning, of course there's still the memory of whatever happened today and thoughts. And then when I don't follow them, there comes a point where in the past I would say I'm sleeping, but I'm not. It's just everything disappears. and then when I come back, I actually don't come back. It's like everything is the same, but it's new. It's the moment arises out of this nothingness, and that's very pleasant. Then there's no agenda. There's no there's no goal to this. So it depends. If this practice of visualization helps you to become aware of that which is aware, then it's very helpful. If it keeps you occupied in the story, then it's a beautiful entertainment. It's like just you choose the Netflix movie, yeah, in a way. So I don't see any right or wrong in it. It's very, very personal. I think everybody has a different access point to nothingness. And for me, nothingness, I heard Osho talk about nothingness or emptiness so much, and I never understood it until I understood it.
Yeah, but he also brought a lot of tools, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many tools.
Endless tools.
And there's a point where the tool drops away.
Yeah.
And that it's an interesting discussion for me, because I'm not very much a visualizer.
Yeah.
I struggle with it, and
it's
because
exhausting.
I've actually done so much Vipassana, there's kind of like there's just a big no, I don't want to visualize anything.
Good, then don't.
All the Joe Dispenza stuff and all that. There's different things of it's interesting, because I do a lot of these yoga techniques, that I do also see that they sometimes leave an echo that opens up to a deeper sense of reality, so
absolutely.
a much more subtle space.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm a little conflicted as to, well, I use the techniques and open up, and there's the possibility of deepening, or I sit in what is and be happy with that. It's just an interesting meditational dilemma. So
for me, when I'm alone, I just sit. When I have groups, then I use the chakra breathing, or the Ananda Mandala, or the Kundalini, or the dynamic, or the Natara. Osho has given so many so-called techniques, but they always guide you in more or less to nothingness. No? Now, he didn't say that at the time because we didn't understand. At least or maybe he said it, but I never understood it. No? And I think that everybody who's sitting here is an old meditator, but out in the world, to get people to have an experience, I think visualization or technique is very helpful. The whole Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, it's all, I think in my understanding, all these techniques are helping the mind to dissolve itself. Then it's a good technique. No? If it creates more mind, more story. I was always wondering why Osho is slamming Maharishi Yogi so much with the mantras, because he kept saying, well, yes, you change the focus from your chattering mind to the mantra, but that's the same thing. Then you're hooked on the mantra, and then you have just the mantra. And that's why he was so much against mantra, because it's another hook where the mind can hook in, where the remembering of that which is aware is beyond the thinking mind. It is again, it took me ages to understand. Osho was always talking about no mind, and I thought I should not have a mind. But right behind the mind is no mind. It's already here. And when you're sitting, you're so clearly in it. Then there's no you, and there's no it, and and the rest is entertainment until we deepen into this. Now, since we are all kind of also still in the world, I don't think there's many people of the nature of Osho or of Jesus or of Muhammad, of all these guys, that somehow lived in this no-me state all the time. And I think it would not be very helpful for us to function if we would. And yet something becomes more and more relative. Even what freaked us out in earlier times is just a passing climate. So I don't know if that answer helps. It's not an answer, but
it's really just a discussion. Because it's there. It's there. It just came up, and a couple of times I've thought to talk about that with you.
It's good. I think it's interesting.
And I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I like that. That's your answer. If it's not broken, don't fix it. It reminds me, many years ago, shortly after this shift that I went through in 1999, I gave a session to somebody, and it was like a darshan. The guy said, I'm working in this cardboard factory, and I make these cardboard boxes, and I'm in so much joy and in so much bliss. And all my colleagues, they complain every day about being where they are, and I don't understand this, so I think my life is incredible. Is there something wrong with me? Yeah. Why am I not like all the others that complain about the boss and that they complain that they have a 9-to-5 job and they have no freedom? I don't understand all this, because for me this is so pleasant, so joyous, so fulfilling. I said, great, can I learn from you? I mean, Osho, incredible, no? Osho talked for 35 years. If you count the hours together, it's incredible. And he always pointed us always to that. Always to that. And every technique he devised, from every religion he devised, was always only a stepping stone, so that when awareness, when we become aware of awareness, only then we understand what Osho was trying to say. Before that, we try to achieve something that is not achievable. It's a very strange thing. And Osho made it very, very tasty, he called it enlightenment. That's really something to get. A very tasty cookie. Come on, you guys, ask some questions here around the world. Otherwise, we can sit in silence. Hmm? Now, I feel tempted to move into the blessings of the chakras meditation. I don't know if you all were here, and this is kind of maybe challenging the visualization part, because it is actually, from my perspective, not a visualization. It is like tuning a piano. You know, a piano has so many chords, or tuning a guitar, and a certain tune evokes a certain melody. No? And we are such colorful beings. If you look at our Soma, this is how our Soma was born, that Vicky Wall. She was blind, but she saw in her blindness all the colors of the people she was meeting. And then she found that the people she was meeting were actually in themselves attracted to a specific color combination. And this is how these bottles kind of came into being, with so many different combinations. And then, because the mind loves to label energies, each bottle has a name. And then there are kind of the different groups of bottles, like there's master bottles, and there's angelic bottles, and there are child bottles. And it is just another translation of a vibrational field. And since you talked about Joe Dispenza, there's times where I cannot listen to him at all, because it's all about becoming supernatural. We are already supernatural. No? That's one piece. But the other piece is, we are humans. We have a function or an expression of life in this life. We are gifted with many gifts. And for me, the blessings of our gifts is one way to bring light into what is, rather than what our mind usually plays with, which is, arguing what is not, wanting what is not. And the blessing of the chakras, in a way, for me is there is an energy in my body, otherwise my body wouldn't be here. Can I bless this? What is this I that blesses? It's the universal, infinite self that blesses a certain frequency that is manifest in form through this body, if we bless the first chakra. So, from the perspective of wherever our attention goes is where our energy flows, and we are flowing energy, then in this perhaps practice we can shift the energy flow from the resistance to what is and wanting something else to supporting the essential qualities that are already here. That's the idea in blessing the energy centers. What do you Would you like to do that? I mean, play with that? No? And it's not a visualization. You don't need to see anything. Is it too hot? It gets hot, no?
People getting undressed here.
Yeah, be my guest. Then we can bless the open centers. So we have a little guided meditation, and so play with this a little bit. See if you can join me behind the words into the. It's almost like a journey into different climates, and the journey of the climates of our essential nature through the body, through the feelings, through the power, through the heart, through the throat, through the third eye, and through the crown. Okay? So close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. And if this is all too much talking, for some of you it's much too much talking, let the words just pass through. It's like wind through an empty space. You don't need to hang on the words. They're just kind of pointing towards different climates. And then just from here you can bring your relaxed attention to your root center, to this area of the perineum, the area of the legs, the pelvic floor, the genitals, our roots, and feel into your physical energy. It's like the first chakra gives rise to the physical body, and feel how much you are in the body. And on a mental level we have maybe different arguments about the body, how it should be and how it should not be. And today and just now, if you like, you can even bring both of your hands into the vicinity of your root center, into your first chakra, and imagine that through your hands flow, you know, the hands are connected to the heart, that through your hands, your root center, the center of the body, is blessed. You feel the blessings that are touching your physical energy, however it is, and it's touching your sexual energy and your vitality. And the vibrational field of a healthy first chakra is also creating a healthy and balanced material life. So allow the divine blessings that flow through you, that are much bigger than you. Bless your first chakra. And in this blessing, your first chakra can relax, can open, can let go, can connect to the infinite source of material abundance, of health, of sexual joy, of vitality. And just feel that for a moment. And there, if you like, you can visualize it, or you can hear the certain melody of a humming first chakra, or you can smell the fragrance of the joy of being in the body, the taste of presence. And blessings are not something that the ego can do. It's like an opening to the whole universe. Then we can take a deep breath. And then we can move to the lower belly, to the second chakra. And the second chakra, the lower belly, lower back, is very connected to our emotional well-being, to our feelings, to all our senses. And in this lifetime, in our conditioning, we have preferences, but for now, just imagine that through your hands, divine blessings can bless every single sense. Bless the sense of seeing, the sense of hearing, the sense of smelling, the sense of tasting, the sense of feeling. Because when our senses are open, the senses become doorways to the being, to the infinity. And feeling how your belly and your lower back, where we usually hold a lot of control, can gently relax. And just like a flower opens in the morning sun, your feeling body can melt and open to its deep, deep sensitivity, where melting and aloneness are in balance, where we can merge into what we like and we can move into aloneness. So togetherness and aloneness is the dimension here. And like each in-breath is a togetherness, each out-breath is an aloneness. And the aloneness is all oneness. And for a moment just feel the blessings of the universe touching your belly, blessing the child in you. In the second chakra we could say there is also the inner child, that innocence, that openness, that sense of wonder here. And perhaps you can even feel the energy of divine blessings opening you to what is also called the bliss body, the orange. That's why monks carry the orange robes. And then we can take a deep breath. And we can bring our relaxed attention to the solar plexus, the third chakra. Solar plexus is the plexus of the sun, of the sunlight, the energy of joy, of magnetism, of openness. Also of power, but not power over others, the sense of inner strength and integrity. And the breath in the third chakra is strength and weakness. And many of us are afraid of the out-breath, which is weakness. But without allowing the out-breath. The in-breath is very controlled. Now, in the balance of strength and weakness, there's a deeper inherent strength that in the third chakra gives us the energy to move, to put into action what we want to do, to actually find the energy for action. And it has a certain integrity. And all these words are pointing to a certain energy vibration that we can feel, that we can perhaps internally see. In the third chakra, we are powerful beyond measure. We are magnetic. We are like the shining sun, like the blazing sun. We can cut through illusions like a thunderbolt. Feel that for a moment. It's all there. It's in the vibrational field, and allow it to be blessed by the whole universe. And feel how the blessings naturally put your third chakra into balance. And this is collectively so much needed, as the whole world, the majority of the world, lives in the misunderstanding, in the unconscious third chakra, which is comparison, competition, judgments, blame, guilt, unworthiness, superiority, inferiority, domination, control, and so on. All these intense sufferings, and they can just fall away as we come to the center of our inner sun, of our blazing sun. And then we can take a deep breath. And the next step is the step that the whole humanity is hopefully about to take in these turbulent times, which is from the third to the heart. And you may want to bring your hands to your heart and feel your heart. And in the outer layers of the heart, we may feel the compassion, the love in form, the love in care, the love in tenderness, the love in giving and receiving. And allow the blessings that come through your hands to bless your heart. And the heart is innocence. And deeper, the heart is space. And deeper, through the heart, universally around the earth, the heart is connected to love. Humans connect the heart to love. And ultimately, we find that love is space. And allow the blessings that move through your hands to bless your heart, that it may be open, it may be vulnerable, It may be loving and kind. It may be caring and compassionate. It may be receptive to the blessings of existence. It may be blessed to recognize the perfection of all things right here, right now. And from here, we can take a deep breath and move to the throat chakra, the fifth chakra. And if you want to touch it very gently, maybe just with the tips of your fingers. It's a very delicate energy center. It is the center of our creativity, of our self-expression. And when I say self, not the little me self, not the personality self, but that infinite self that is waiting to express itself through you, through creativity, through a spontaneous response to now, through daring to not know and allowing the not knowing to guide your way. As the highest intelligence is a spontaneous, creative response to the now. And as you feel the blessings blessing your throat, feel that even if it's just in seed form, the seed of your creativity is supported through these blessings. The seed of true expression, of speaking the truth, of living the truth, of trusting. Feel the trust being blessed. The trust, not conditional trust, but the unconditional trust in existence. That is the possibility for the throat to be open, and the possibility that all our limiting beliefs that constrict the throat and that stifle our creativity simply fall off like old leaves, revealing the flower of your creation. And creativity, of course, is not just painting or dancing or acting or sculpting. It is creativity in cleaning the floor and washing the dishes and in being present to anything we do. Now feel the blessings blessing the throat so that the throat can relax, can heal. And this is very important in days of COVID-19 because it starts with a throat ache usually, or a runny nose. And in the blessings of the throat can relax. It has been too much constricted through fear, and it can relax in the blessings of now. And another deep breath, and we can move to the forehead center. If you like, you can gently touch it with your fingertips and allow the blessings to come through your fingers into the clarity of our seeing in the true intelligence that awakens from nothingness. It is where we can become aware of the projector rather than of the projected image that we project. Where we have the capacity to see reality as it is. Most of the time we only see our own projection, and we forget the projector. We forget that, even in a cinema, we watch the light and shadow on the screen, but we never look back into where it comes from, the machine that projects the picture. And in blessing the third eye, we can return to the source, to the pure white light of consciousness. So the third eye may be open and see beyond illusion into the reality of things. And seeing, to see is to be free. And then we can take another deep breath and move to the crown. You may want to bring your palms together above the crown. And blessing the center that connects us to the whole universe, to the infinite space of emptiness that includes all form. Here we are one with the stars, one with the moon, one with the clouds, one with nature, and one with all beings. And allowing the blessings that come through your hands to, in India it's called Diksha, to give yourself a blessing that is actually a blessing of the divine. And as the crown opens, that oneness can be naturally realized. And then we can take another deep breath and feeling for a moment all your chakras wonderfully aligned like a chain of beautiful beads of light. Consciousness manifests in all its colors through this body. And sitting in that for a few minutes. in that space we can chant this beautiful mantra with Deva and Miten. They start with a few mantras, and then the mantra is called Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. It's really like extending the blessings from yourself to all beings. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be healthy, and may I contribute through my deeds and my words and my behavior to the happiness of all people. Shanti. Yes. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We'll have more satsangs and on Fridays, and then on is it next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, Gabrielle is going to be leading on compassion.
Okay.
And the following Tuesday, I'm hoping to get you there to do the blessings of the chakras.
Okay, so that's so that's in the Temple Byron. Greg organizes beautiful meditation events there. So next Tuesday, Gabriele, and then Tuesday, the week after, we may have this meditation. And then since the Australian government wants me to be here,
So
they're not allowing me. Well, they don't answer, so which means that's enough not to allow me. I'm planning to have at least one, if not more, weekend retreats. You know, we had this once or twice, and it was very beautiful to just immerse in meditation and satsang and chanting for a whole weekend. And I will give you an email when I find the dates and the time and what's going to happen. It's going to be a limited number in here. We keep it kind of cozy. You know? So stay tuned. Thank you for now. Have a wonderful evening and a blessed week until we meet again.